In this video, I'm going to give you a full rundown of my Battle Beaver controller, why you should get one, and why I think it's better than scuf. First, let's talk about the aesthetics on this thing. I got the Soft Touch Hydro Dip, which kind of has a matte feel to it. It feels really good. And then I got Soft Touch on the back as well, and that also feels great. I don't think it gives a huge grip advantage, but I still really like it. And next I got the matte white buttons as well as the white D-pad. These still click and feel normal, but just look cooler than standard. And I didn't really do anything to the touchpad. I did get the white option and share button, and of course the Battle Beaver logo instead of PlayStation. I almost paid extra for my logo, which I would have, but I wanted to save wherever I could. Also, I got the rumbles removed so it's lighter. You can tell when you grab the controller, it almost makes it feel cheap because it's so empty and light, but it's fantastic, and I definitely recommend doing that. Feels really good in the hands. Now for the stuff you actually care about, let's talk about the triggers and the sticks and all that good stuff. Smart triggers as well as smart bumpers, which make them both click like a mouse. Play COD and Apex, and that's about it. Right now, mainly Warzone, and I shoot and aim with R1 and L1, which I would highly recommend to anyone playing shooters. Also, I would highly recommend these smart bumpers and triggers. They feel great, they click great. The bumpers kind of have a rock to them. It worried me at first, almost like it wasn't supposed to come that way, but it's perfectly fine. All my clicks register and they're holding up great after 3 months. Now with the triggers being smart triggers, you don't get that like ramp effect if you're playing racing games or GTA for example. I got them there the other day, and when you drive with smart triggers, there's no going slow. When you click the triggers, you know it's either 0 or 100. So it's something to keep in mind if you play racers. Got 2 buttons on the back, both in the standard placement, and I can say they fit perfectly right where my fingers go. My hands are probably a little larger than average, so I considered getting the buttons lowered, but I'm glad I went with standard. I was using a strike pack before this, and on the pictures the buttons looked like they were going to be higher up than what I'm used to, but they were perfect. My left button is circle, and my right button is X, which I thought was standard, but I think most people actually do the opposite. But it doesn't really matter, just get what you're used to or whatever you want to learn. You can also order it to where they are remappable. I didn't add this because it would have cost more, and honestly for me it wasn't worth it considering I just play first person shooters and I'd never change it. But if you play a lot of different styles of games, maybe racing, and you want to put your R1 handbrake on the back and then switch it back to X or something, you know, just get the remappable buttons. And another thing about these rear buttons, I got the quiet soft version. And this is my first Battle Beaver, so I don't have any experience with the other style, which is just the standard back buttons. But these quiet soft ones work great. They are pretty quiet. They don't come through my mic on stream or anything. I've caught myself lately wondering if each press is registering. I haven't had a for sure moment where I know the click hasn't registered, but on COD sometimes trying to slide cancel where you're having to circle X really fast. Sometimes it feels like that second circle press doesn't come through, but it's most likely just user error because when I stop and teabag to see if it's working fine. So after 3 months, the back buttons are holding up just fine. So for the real 3-month durability test, let's talk about the sticks and stick drift. I'm proud to say after 3 months, I have no stick drift, and I say that even using a very low dead zone. I think on Call of Duty, the standard dead zone is like 0.2, and I'm getting no stick drift all the way down to 0.05 and maybe a little lower. Now, I will say I've taken really good care of this controller. It doesn't get left out. I'd recommend buying a case like this one, or you can get one straight from the Battle Beaver website when you order your controller. But if you don't want to do that, what I do every night is I stuff my controller in this Adidas shoebox, which is kind of jank, but it keeps the dust out, and that's all I need it to do. And plus, I'm using Kontrol Freeks. And so instead of taking them on and off and wearing down the rubber, I just stuff it all inside the shoebox. Now let's talk about stick tension. On this left stick, I left it stock, no tension added. And on this right stick, the one I aim with, I added extreme tension. I can say I really like it. I wouldn't say it gives you aimbot or a huge advantage, but I do really like it. And I think it can help your aim at least a little bit. Another advantage for me, at least with the extreme tension, is I can't tell you how many times I died in Apex because while shooting, I would accidentally click my right stick and just melee the air and get freaking blasted. The increased tension makes the stick harder to click, which means now when I'm clenching my controller about to break it in half during a gunfight, I don't accidentally knife the air anymore. And to address hand fatigue, my hands don't get tired using the increased tension, and I game for hours at a time. The only time I feel my hands hurting are when I warm up on shipment against like 15 bots on veteran, and I'm clicking every single button for 20 minutes straight. I've played scrims and felt fine, and I've been playing a lot of Warzone lately, and that also feels fine. And I can assure you, I haven't got anywhere even close to saying that I need to get off or switch controllers because my hands are tired. So, final thoughts. Should you get a Battle Beaver controller? And the answer is absolutely. Should you get one over scuf? I think the answer is still yes, but that's really up to you. My friends had a scuf and it broke before too long. I see all over Twitter people talking about problems with scuf, and I know controllers have problems, and I wouldn't say this if it was just one person, but I see multiple people talking about problems with scuf and not a lot of problems with these Battle Beavers. Another thing I would say is the learning curve with a scuf. If you're going to hop on with the 4 paddles on the back of a scuf, it's going to take a while to get used to that. While with this Battle Beaver and these buttons just sitting right here, is how you hold the controller anyway. And if you use a strike pack or the PlayStation attachment, it's going to feel right at home if you jump over to one of these. Another thing, you know this brand is good when there are pros on scuf contracts trying to sneak their Battle Beaver on stage. Like, come on. The price for scuf and Battle Beaver are about the same. I never thought I would buy a $200 controller, but if you think about it, think about how many PlayStation controllers you have lying around and how many times you just go get a new one. I mean, 4 PlayStation controllers are going to set you back like $250, and you just keep breaking them. So why not invest in a good one and just take care of it, and just get you a shoebox, keep it in there. So hope this helps you guys wondering about Battle Beaver. It's a great controller. I highly recommend it. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Battle Beaver gameplay, or let me know in the comments if my Call of Duty settings or maybe Apex settings would be a helpful video for all of you Battle Beaver owners out there. Take 2 seconds to like the video. It helps a lot. Appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next one.